So Zambia has done it again. No, Zambia has done it for once. Yeah, we must be honest. The Zambian government has arrested Chinese nationals that are involved into funny schemes, money laundering and crazy stuff. About 22 Chinese nationals with 77 people in total have been arrested in Zambia and their stuff confiscated. This is an internet sophisticated fraud scheme. Congratulations to Zambia. Yeah, so a sophisticated internet fraud syndicate has been uncovered in Zambia, leading to an arrest of 77 people, including 22 Chinese nationals. Obviously, the Chinese nationals are the boss. The rest of the people are just the people they hire to achieve their goal. These are Zambians.
After thorough investigations, spearheaded by our intelligence team here, a raid on a company called Golden Top Support Services in Lusaka uncovered a sophisticated internet fraud syndicate. This operation was conducted following thorough investigation operations and revealed the presence of, among other things, SIM boxing machines used for fraudulent activities, along with about 13,000 SIM cards, both domestic and international. Counting of these systems, I must emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, is still ongoing. As you can see, they are quite a heap, but approximately there. What we have counted so far is 1,742 Vodafone SIM cards, 7,778 MTN SIM cards, 4,016 Airtel SIM cards, including 11 SIM boxes. The organization behind the scheme employed young Zambian individuals, mostly school leavers, under the guise of call center agents. These individuals engaged in deceptive conversations with unsuspecting mobile users across platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, and chat rooms. The operation's scope extended beyond Zambia, with evidence of communication with individuals in countries such as Singapore, Peru, and the United Arab Emirates. In total, 77 suspects were apprehended, including 23 foreign nationals, who include some Chinese and one Cameroonian.
Chinese nationals are set to be sentenced on Friday. There have been increasing cases of Zambians losing money from their mobile phone and bank account through money laundering schemes which extend to other foreign countries. These are things that happen in Africa, many countries in Africa. I don't know if you see it in your country as well, if you're from America and stuff. Sometimes you sit down and your phone rings, okay? I don't know if you've experienced this before. What's up? What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. I'm sorry for being rude. I'm Zack. I don't know who you are. Hey, I'm sure you're going to love each other by the end of this video. Okay? So, like I was saying, sometimes your phone rings and you pick up and there's nobody. It goes off. Then the phone rings again and you pick up, there's nobody. What happens is you lose money. There are calls that can be made without you losing money. Actually, the person you call pays for the call. So they have tactics and strategies which they use to call people. They'll call random people. Let's say they call you, okay? You pick up the phone. You pay $1. I'm just giving a stupid example. You pay 10 rand if you're South African. If you pay whatever shillings, okay? And then they call you again. You pay that amount because you're curious. You want to know, hello, who's this? Hello? The money goes. Then they call your neighbor, then his sister, then her uncle, then a cousin. 200 calls a day. How much money do they make? A lot of money. Sometimes they will call you and say, listen, we're calling you from this and this bank. There's something absolutely critical that you need to do. You need to confirm your address and whatever that is, and this and that. Or else, we suspected some dangerous activity in your account. And when you hear that, you're scared, right? You're thinking from the bank. They probably have some of your details online where you were trying to log on to that website, that porn website. No, I hope you don't go to porn. Yeah, those funny websites you go to. People leave their imprint everywhere they go on the internet. And these Chinese that are very knowledgeable with the schemes have been making tremendous amount of money in Zambia. Now, not for long anymore because they are arrested and they're going to be condemned. They're going to be sentenced on Friday. During the raid, 11 SIM boxes were discovered. SIM boxes are devices that can route call from everywhere. So basically, somebody can call you from a local number, but the reality is they're calling you from Bangladesh. These are very difficult devices to acquire. You need lots of money and connection. More than 13,000 SIM cards were confiscated, both local and foreign, demonstrating the extent of the operation reach. 2 firearms and 78 rounds of ammunition were confiscated and 2 vehicles belonging to the Chinese national linked to the business.
1,742 Vodafone SIM cards, 7,778 MTN SIM cards, 4,016 Airtel SIM cards, including 11 SIM boxes. Furthermore, 2 firearms. You can see this is a pistol. So it's telling us that there's a big problem somewhere. Why should they be armed like this when they're carrying out agenda? Look at the rounds, the number of rounds.
So my question is this: how does a Chinese national acquire a firearm in an African country? I don't understand that. Have you ever seen an African with a firearm in China? Have you ever seen that? You know, Africans are too nice. I'm just going to be honest with you, fellas, because I have never seen people so passive, so forgiving, so accepting as Africans. We just accept anything. Do you know what they would do to you if you went and did fraud in China? You're not going to come out of their life. You're never coming out of there. You know what they're going to do to you if you go to China, do funny things like drugs or scheming people, lying to people, making money illegally out of people. You're finished. Your life is finished. But I find it crazy that Chinese can come to Africa and carry a firearm. And what? 78 rounds of ammunition. My man, 78 rounds of ammunition. When, where, how did he get that? How do you explain this? And they're probably just going to be arrested and yeah, then disappear. That's what happens most of the time. Because, well, some Chinese organization perhaps paid some money to one of the responsible person, one of the leading people in justice, and they free them. So they don't pay the consequences of it. This is insane. Nothing wrong with the Chinese people, okay? Chinese people have come to Africa. They've done some good things. So I'm not going to be unfair. They went to Ethiopia, build the railroad, build trains and stuff. Good things. They went to Zambia, build the road, build hotels and stuff like that. Even though many people believe they've got too much foothold in Zambia. They feel like Chinese are too powerful in Zambia. But they're trying to do some positive thing. But should that excuse the fact that they need to behave themselves in a foreign land, foreign continent? I don't know. And the problem is, how much do African nations allow, African authorities allow Chinese to do negative things that they wouldn't do in China? Things that no African man would dare do in China because they're going to finish him. But the Chinese get out of it. In the Democratic Republic of Congo many years ago, there was a Chinese national with a knife in his hand, running rampant because one of his employees asked him to be paid. And he refused. He stabbed people. Nothing happened to that guy. In Zimbabwe, a Chinese national, and I'm being honest, you can verify these information, engaged and hired many locals to work for him in a mine or something. And he paid everybody. And some of the workers were not paid. And they came asking for their salaries. You know what he did? He shot. Nothing really happened to him. In Kenya, one called the president's monkey, saying everybody stinks. Yes. The Chinese national said, I hate Africa. Africans stink. They ask him, what are you doing in Africa? He said, I'm here for business. What are you doing in Africa if Africans stink? I'm here for business. And I'm not saying all Chinese people think that way. I'm just saying we're just presenting you the fact with what we've experienced already in the continent. He said even the president stinks. He's a monkey.
Kenya, even this is all the Kenyans. Even all of them.
It's like
yeah, sure.
The president of this country.
Yeah, sure. You can go to court and tell me. I don't like here. Like people. I don't like talk with them. Smell is bad and poor and foolish.
Luckily for him, at least, he got embarked and sent back to China by the government. And congratulations to Kenya for doing that. Much appreciated. In Zambia, Chinese nationals have opened a restaurant where no Zambian was allowed to enter. Imagine somebody coming into your country, open a restaurant, serves food to people, but you're not allowed to come in. Like, what? How? How is that even possible? There was a young man that went with his wife. His wife is Chinese, hoping to have some Chinese food. They got to the restaurant. She was accepted. He was returned. They refused him entry. And it was insane.
The guys were in front of us. They went in.
Chinese nationals. They went in. So when my wife and I were going in, there was this lady behind the counter. She was shouting something. She was yelling something. So for me, I just looked at her, but then I couldn't understand. So I walked in again. Then she repeated the same phrase. So at this time, I looked at my wife because she was looking in my direction. So I looked at my wife. My wife had stopped moving. So I asked her, what is she saying? So the lady said, foreigners are not allowed in this shop. So I thought to myself, in my mind, I was like, oh, how does she know my wife is, not from Zambia? Then my wife said, oh, she means you are not allowed in the shop.
So they accept your wife because she's Chinese to enter, probably so she can get another Chinese man and say goodbye to you. But they refuse you entry at the gate in your own country. And people find absolutely nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, there was a politician that was very, very upset about that. And he was putting pressure against the Chinese. And a few days later, he was demoted or removed or something like that. I mean, Zambians are here, please confirm. Crazy stuff. Absolutely insane stuff. In Zambia, again, there was a moment during COVID where some of the guys were kept in boxes. I mean, these are Zambian workers working for a Chinese national. They were kept in boxes, like sleeping in a bedroom, like 13, 14, 16 people, like in an inhumane way. And there was a politician that came forward and accusing us, said, this is not China. This is not how you're going to treat our people. And he was removed of his office by another Zambian politician, obviously, that eats the money of the Chinese.
Why you kept them for 2 weeks and we've seen where they sleep. Why is that so? Why don't you allow them to knock off?
No, we're not allow them to go home because the corona issue.
The corona issue?
Yes, we need to take care of them and the country,
How about their wives?
This has to stop, fellas. Congratulations to Zambians. If this is really what we feel it is, these 22 Chinese nationals are running a fraud scheme, taking money from poor Zambians and some foreigners living within the borders of Zambia. Then they should pay the price of it. Because in China, they're going to finish you, my man. You're not going to return. You know how many Africans have been finished in China? You have no idea. For doing something small, for bringing a book that's not supposed to be, bringing a book that you're not supposed to have. Don't play, man. Have yourself some respect, okay? Give yourself some level of respect. The world can only treat you the way you treat yourself. The bottom line, that's the bottom line of it. Okay, China is a country that has a lot of human beings, lots of people, okay? Lots of people. They cannot continue this way with the number of people. And that's one of the programs. You can call it whatever you want. They need their people to go to other continents, especially Africa, because it's rich. When Chinese comes to Africa, they make children. They bring you a small hospital or whatever you call that Chinese thing. They stay in your neighborhood. They make babies. In China, at a certain time, you can only make one baby because there was too many Chinese people. Now in Africa, they can make 5 or 6. And those kids are going to grow up. They're going to become citizens of the country because, that's what Chinese do. They come to countries, they take up citizenship. When these kids that were born in your country grow up and become men, born in Zambia, born in Kenya, born in Tanzania, when they be born in South Africa, when they become adults, do you think they're going to love you more or they're going to love China more? I'm just saying. We love Chinese. We like the fact that they don't interfere with internal affairs of countries. But the treatment of the humans of Africa is not good. Okay? That is very, very poor, the way Africans are treated. And also, when you come to Africa to build a road, why don't you teach Africans how to build their own road? Okay, and I understand that's the responsibility of government to sign contract when Chinese come into the country. I think except South Africa, which is the only country in Africa that doesn't really have Chinese building their roads or their infrastructure. Most African countries have China as a leading partner. I mean, look at Ethiopia. The house of the African Union was built by the Chinese. The African Union building was built by the Chinese. It's a gift from China to Africa. I don't understand what kind of people cannot take care of their own business. How can you not look after yourself? Why are Africans this way? You cannot. How about every country come with some amount of money. Every country come with some amount of money and do something together. But you're expecting people to respect you when they give you everything you have. The Chinese built that building, African Union. It was a gift from the Chinese to Africans. Later on, we found out that that building was rigged. There were plagues of devices. Those devices could record information, discussion, meetings. Okay, they had a server, and that server every Saturday sent data at night to China. Now imagine African presidents sitting together discussing matters of Africa, thinking it's private. But every Saturday night, the server in Ethiopia sent information to a server in China. How and why? Because the Chinese built the building, man. The Chinese built the building. They put microphones everywhere, in toilet, in light, in things. You can't be beggar and stupid at the same time. I'm sorry. Let me know how you feel about this. The move by Zambia to arrest these guys. I think they need to set an example. That's what you go to Philippines, you go sell drugs, you're done. They ain't never gonna see you anymore. There's a young lady from Botswana that was arrested in Bangladesh, was arrested somewhere in Asia. And now they're negotiating to find an agreement so they don't finish her. Okay, those are their laws. But if it was a Chinese or Asian in Africa, then the governor is going to speak on his behalf. Then it's crazy. It's crazy. God bless.